Hello, and welcome to Amplify with Purpose, the podcast where we explore what it takes to live well and lead with purpose. We discuss everything from business strategies to transformative leadership and personal development. In every episode, you'll find heartfelt discussions and practical tips designed to help you live your best life. My mission is to help you live a life with purpose and increase your impact. So, whether you're looking to enhance your business, enrich your personal experiences, or simply just to find a little bit of inspiration, you're in the right place. Today, I have the privilege of speaking with Lyndall, a former business banker who has an impressive background in helping businesses navigate their marketing and sales challenges. Having worked for thousands of businesses, Lyndall witnessed firsthand the heartbreaking failure of over 100 businesses due to avoidable mistakes, primarily rooted in ineffective marketing strategies. Frustrated by her inability to provide the guidance these businesses needed, Lyndall made a bold move. Armed with a university degree and valuable experience from her working time on marketing campaigns with companies like My State Bank, TPC Wealth, and NAB, she founded VisiBell, a marketing and web design agency. Lyndall is now on a mission to empower 1,000 service-based businesses to thrive online, a goal that reflects her deep commitment to turning potential into success. Please join me in welcoming Lyndall to the show. Lyndall, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. What a great intro.
You're a great person. I think you deserve a great intro and you're a great person. And we just have great people on the show. So you're in good company. Lyndall,
Thank you.
it is a pleasure having you here today. Your journey from the banking sector to founding VisiBell is truly inspiring, especially given your dedication to helping service-based businesses to thrive. And today we're going to be talking about strategic branding, and I'm eager to hear your insights on how businesses can move beyond just logos and really harness the power of cohesive branding strategy. So to kick things off, I would love if you could help me understand, explain what strategic branding means and why it goes beyond just the logo. What is it? How does it work? Help us out here.
Yes, branding, it is so much more than a logo. And it's more than just the visual design as well. It's how you actually position your business. And you can position it in a way that you actually start attracting your dream clients to your business. And you can make them feel emotions whenever they enter with your brand. So think Virgin, some of their Virgin products, they're just so energy inspiring, saying we Red Bull, it's all about energy, which is just more. They convey in every customer touch point, every marketing point. They just make you feel emotions. And that's what strategic branding can do. Can just really elevate your business and really start attracting clients to you.
I'm hearing something which is very close to my heart, and it's initiating emotion in your customers. So for those of you who've been on the show before or who've been listening for a while, that we always talk somehow about customer experience, it does come up. And strategic branding plays a very big role in customer experience, actually, because if your brand invokes a specific kind of emotion, which is contrary to the experience that you wanted the customer to have, then there's a disconnect and your customers are like confused. I'm not sure what's happening. And then they leave, not because it was a bad experience, but because it's just not cohesive and not pulled together. So what you're saying is really when we are creating and designing our experience, one of the things we should be considering is strategic branding and how that filters through the experience because of the emotions that you can evoke through strategic branding and placement and so on.
Correct. Yeah. So and I've seen impacts of where they haven't done it and how it can actually, without even realizing it, it can repel their ideal target market. The customers they work with are ones that they don't like. And it becomes harder with that customer experience. They haven't realized that their branding is repelling them.
That's a really interesting point. And I think it's something that we don't often pay attention to. Because generally, when you speak to marketers, are going to tell you social media marketing, this post, this thing, this, just go do those things. And don't then have an opportunity, especially small businesses. We wear many hats. So it requires you to elevate sort of your perspective and your thinking a little bit to say, okay, but where does it all fit in? And what you're saying is strategic branding is just going one level up to say, what does the overall thing look like? And then make sure that it filters through nicely so it's cohesive and it flows. That's interesting. So, Lyndall, in your journey as a business banker, obviously you've seen many things, you've watched and businesses grow, but equally you would have seen businesses struggle and just not get through it. How has that shaped your approach to strategic branding?
Yeah, that's a big one. A lot of those, well, so much I learned from those failing businesses. Most of them, they didn't even have a logo. And if they did, it was, but there was no consistent way of how the brand looks. They weren't recognizable and they couldn't be found online either. They were
Mm,
the major ones that the ones that are, because I got to see the financials as well and
yes.
and how they looked on the front ends. And some of them, they'd spent a lot of money up front to develop their identity, and then it flowed onto the customer experience, which then flowed onto the sales. It can be a really powerful tool for businesses, especially small businesses, helping them if they want to go to the next level and reach the higher income brackets.
Mm. Do you mind sharing with us why it's important to have a solid brand identity, to have consistency? What is the impact on the customers or even on the experience when there is a slight disconnect, say in your marketing or in your material or even in your logo? Because that's the first thing people tell you to get when you start a business. Have you got a logo? And some businesses are like, I'm just going to create one myself, and others spend a lot of money. But it's hard to understand how do those things connect and then result in the ultimate experience.
Yeah, and so the subconscious mind is really powerful. And you might not have these thoughts. Your mind is looking for reasons not to trust. And when you have inconsistent experience, so your social media looks one way, then you move on to a website, it looks completely different. Or you might get a brochure, it looks completely different. These send signals to your subconscious mind that that something's not right. That and it's like a reason not to trust you and a reason to stop and think. And whenever you're in the customer buying journey, any chance for them to stop, pause, and think is a chance to lose the sale.
Yeah.
And we're not talking major changes. Sometimes can be as small as the text alignment. Sometimes it's to the left, center, it's all moving around, different font sizes or different colors. That can just be the slightest signal to stop and think
Mm.
and question, and if there's too much, are they even legitimate? Can we trust them? Which can have a big impact on your business.
That's huge because one of the things I often talk about on the show and in my business is the advocacy engine, which basically is a bunch of principles that I've put together to say, if you do these things theoretically and when applied in principle, creates a seamless experience and creates the memorable experience. So it starts off with clarity, and you've said it in terms of the strategic branding. You need to be clear about strategically who are we, what do we want for our customers to feel, and what does it look like. Once we're clear, we have to hold people accountable to make sure that it actually happens, because it's one thing to have this document because we've all got it. Most people have a brand book or a brand Bible or a brand something that describes your brand.
Yeah.
But nobody necessarily checks that the marketing person that this has been outsourced to is following it. So there's accountability in holding them accountable. And then there's the consistency. And what you're saying is that when we are inconsistent, we're signaling distrust, which is a fascinating point because in the advocacy engine, consistency leads to loyalty and loyalty leads to trust. We only trust people once we've made an assumption of them and that assumption has been proven to be true. Or if that assumption has been proven to be wrong, then we distrust them and now we've given them a reason. And what you're saying is when we lack consistency, we are not able to build trust with them, which I think is a really crucial point for businesses and even professionals who want to build a brand to understand that when we don't have the consistency, we are communicating a reason to distrust. And that's huge. because in today's economy, everything is built on trust.
Correct. And so if your business comes a lot from referrals, it's not quite as important. But if
Yes.
you are an online business, you're getting cold audiences through social media, through paid ads, through SEO, it is extremely important because there's only that level of they don't know you and there's so many other competitors and
Yes.
your competitors might be doing this really well.
Mm.
So things can be little tiny tweaks that could lose you the customer.
Wow. And it's a little tiny tweak that could lose you a lot, but in the grand scheme of things, if you make those tweaks, you could gain a lot. You could seriously elevate your brand and you haven't even changed the world yet.
Correct. But then you dial in on the strategy behind your business about how you can attract those customers and could also help you with the because messaging plays into your brand, how you actually connect and nurture with them. So the better you get at it, the easier business can become sales, marketing, or just it's all connected.
That's where we're on that topic. What are some of the ways that businesses can incorporate their core values into their brand strategy to make it more consistent, to make it more authentic and more real?
Yeah, so definitely messaging. In the obvious way is on our about page on the website, just stating the cause. Actually, you can demonstrate them through your social medias and you leaving out the core values. You can thread it through the words. So just say one of your values is about empowering. You can show that about how you're helping other businesses lift them up, how you're helping them get results, how you're not driven by money. That's the result, how you've got a mission, you're trying to help other people. You can flow that in so many different ways.
That's those are extremely practical and it's simple things to do because like I said, most of us have a brand document or brand guidelines that we've created or had someone else create. And what Lyndall is saying is that go back to that thing and make sure that you stay true to it. And that's a really good point also. If you created it a couple of years ago and your brand has evolved, which by the way is completely normal, then perhaps now is a good reminder to go back and reflect on whether or not that is still you. Is that still what your brand stands for? Is that still the way that you operate and what you want to portray in the market? And if it is, great. If it's not, it's an excellent opportunity to go and make those tweaks and then make sure that it filters through. And if you're wondering how do you do those things, you speak to people like Lyndall to say, hey, I'm stuck here. I need help. And she's obviously able to help you with these things. Lyndall, what is the connection in from your perspective between branding and customer experience? And what are the critical touch points for businesses to consider when looking at their brand strategy?
Yeah. So when I worked in both major companies and when I was younger, I also did 5-star resorts. Then the values are so strong, especially in the resort, that it flows through to the organizational culture and the employees start living the values and then they then start demonstrating the values to the customer. At the resort is good enough never is because it is luxury. And then that just flowed through it because the employees felt it and they lived it. And then it flowed through the customer experience and just gave them so much more. It can flow through in every single way. So it's really the foundational piece of your business that should go through every single touch point of your business.
Again, guys, this is not scripted. So Lyndall has actually not been on the show before. And I want to point out that she said you need to have them feel it. Again, if you've been on the show, we talk about first creating that heart connection, whether it's with your employees or with your customers. You create the connection with them, and when they feel it, that's when their perspective changes. That's how they think differently. And because they have a different perspective, they act differently. And when they act in that way, they create memorable experiences. It flows as opposed to it being this rigid, difficult thing because it's something that they've bought into. It's something they truly believe. Lyndall, you've mentioned a couple of things that businesses do. They've got different fonts or different colors, or there's inconsistency in the colors or how they present themselves. What are some of the other mistakes that businesses make when it comes to first branding? or when they choose to rebrand, because often we do realize actually the brand what that started has matured and we now need to do something else and we're going to rebrand. And sometimes
Yes.
it's complete hits and other times it's a miss. Why is it a miss?
Yes. So there's what I like to say is that branding should be, especially the visual identity, should be like a Venn diagram where one side's what the customer loves, the other circle is what the owner loves, and what you use is where they overlap, where the two circles overlap. And because that then it will attract customers and get them to feel the correct way, but the owner also loves it. Where if you go one way, straight to what the owner loves, such as you're all hot pink, but your target market's males, it might push them away. Or the other way, you could go exactly to what you think your ideal customer loves and what you think it should be, but it doesn't actually connect with you because you don't think it's authentic.
Mm,
Especially in the small business world, if the owner doesn't feel that connection, they might go off and pay a designer and be too scared to give their inputs or give
yeah,
feedback. They just crumble and say, do it for me. It can result in the owner not connecting with it. And because they don't connect with it, well, then they give up within 6 to 12 months. Or the other way is they've done it cheap and DIY'd it or got someone with low skills who doesn't understand those underlying principles and they won't connect with it. And because the owner doesn't connect with it, within 6 to 12 months, they've either outgrown it or just abandoned it.
absolutely. So it's obviously important to make the investment upfront to it's not an expense, it's definitely an investment because there's a long-term value gain from it. So what, in your opinion, would be the first thing that businesses need to consider when they are going to spend money on branding or advertising or creating their brand strategy, but they have a limited budget?
Yeah. Okay. So what I would actually do is deep dive your ideal customer. So there are different levels of where you pay someone. So you can do a graphic designer and they will just do the design. Or the next level up is the brand designer and then there's brand strategist. So there's a tiered approach there. If your budget's lower and you could maybe only just afford a graphic designer to make it look pretty, start by deep diving your ideal customer. What
Mm,
attracts them? What repels them? What are their deepest desires? How do they want to feel? That's the big one. When they
mm,
interact with your business, how do they want to feel? And then what can we do to make them feel that way? So if you're in the wellness space, a lot of calming colors, nurturing, especially the photos show how they want to desire the relaxation. How can we bring that in?
mm.
And the clearer you are in your minds about the ideal customer, the better you'll be able to brief the designer on it.
You made an interesting point, which made me think on just the principle of clarity. If we are unclear, and sometimes as business owners we are, right? The reality is you're a business owner, you wear many hats, and I want to sell this thing. I have these retreats that change people's world. I just need you to go and create this awesome logo and brand. And then you sit back and think, okay, so what does it look like? But we don't necessarily have the mental capacity at the time. So we outsource and we say, I like these colors, I like these fonts, and this is what we do. And that's actually not enough because what Lyndall is saying is if you're unclear about what you want, then the designer is going to go and create something which probably isn't what you wanted in the first place, but you didn't know what you wanted. So you get it and you accept it, A, or you get it and you think this isn't what I wanted, but I actually also don't know how to fix it. And then you just run with it. And when you do that, there's a disconnect because you're not in love with it. You're not in love with your brand. You don't stand wholeheartedly behind this thing. So how can you expect your employees and your customers to stand behind it? So there is a lot of that sits here, I feel.
Well, the biggest way that I then see that play out is on social media. So the businesses don't feel confident in how they look. So they might not show up as often. They might struggle creating content because they struggle with the visual and how to make it look and they're overwhelmed with the decision. and their messaging is off because they haven't done the deep work to understand their customers on the deepest level. They can just have surface level messaging or rely too much on ChatGPT and those tools.
Yes, guys, there's a whole conversation around that chat GPT. He's my friend, but we have had many things to say about friend chat GPT. So, Lyndall, how can users evaluate whether or not their branding efforts are successful and actually resonating with their audience?
One thing is just starting with the owner. Do you feel confident in how your business looks?
Mm,
Do you feel when you go out and you promote your business, do you feel proud of it when you, as a prospective client, when you show them, are you happy to show them and love how it feels? That's
mm,
one of the big ways. And then the other way is social media. Do people come to you and say, you are talking my language, I feel this, and are you attracting the right customers? If there's a certain type of customer you work with, if you're branding on point, you can easily attract them and they are committed to you, they feel you understand them and they're ready to work with you.
mm.
If you miss the point, you might be getting all types of customers, ones that are hard to work with, ones that don't value you or price shop you. Those are some of the ways.
So it's very interesting, guys, that Lyndall is making a very good point here. If you're unsure whether or not your branding is effective, look for engagement. Are they
Yes.
engaging with you? And are the right people engaging with you? If they're not engaging with you, it probably is a signal that there's something off. Also, having said that, this is not a silver bullet. So it's not if you fix this, your business woes are over. So this is not what I'm saying. But it is an indicator that perhaps you need to go back to the drawing board. And I'm a firm believer in paying an expert because they have those expertise. I am also someone who loves to DIY. I love to do things myself where it matters and where I can. But there are just some things in the world that you just bring on the expert, save yourself the headaches, save yourself the time, give someone your insight, tell them what you want so that they can go and create this thing so well so that you can go and do what you do well, which is serve your clients and just produce the value and amplify your impact because it's in that partnership that we're actually able to amplify. So, having said that, Lyndall, what are some of the signs that a brand needs to either refresh or pivot?
Yeah. Okay. So back to the same thing, and you're attracting the right customers. Are they ones that are happy to pay? Do they
Mhm.
connect with? So that's, and are you positioned in the right segment? Because you might have had your brand when you were startup phase and it worked for you in that phase, but now you're ready to scale up and reach higher paying customers or expand to new markets.
Mm.
And like, is a perfect opportunity to reassess. Are we positioned in the correct way? And especially yeah, if you're wanting to reach that next bracket for pay, do we look that? Do we look high end? Do we look luxury? Do we um, demonstrate how the transformation that we provide our customers? Those are the big ways, especially if the owner's feeling that disconnection and not proud, those are
Mm.
the major ways.
Lyndall, if you could leave our audience with one thought on strategic branding, what would that be?
It's use ideal customer, dig into the deepest desires, and then you can never do it too many times. If you did it 6 months, 12 months time ago, do it again. Dig into what are their desires, their fears, and don't just focus surface level. So if you're a virtual admin assistant, you don't help them with their paperwork. You help them with the overwhelm, the stress, the anxiety, those late nights, missing out on family celebration because they're
Yes.
two different projects. That is the difference between their commodity and being someone special that people are drawn to. So dig in, because the deeper you go, the better results you're going to get.
That's a powerful insight. Lyndall, thank you so much for sharing with us. It's clear that strategic branding is more than just looking pretty and it's more than just a logo. It really is about creating an experience for your customers, but it requires you to really know your customers. So, as we wrap up today's show, I encourage our listeners to take action. So how do you take action? Go look for the engagement. Are your customers engaging with you? Are the right customers engaging with you? And do you feel still connected to your brand and to your identity? And if you don't, I encourage you to seek out help. And if you don't know anyone, Lyndall is available. Her details will be available in the show notes. So you'll be able to contact her. You'll be able to give her a call. She's available for strategic calls. So you can book in and she can consult and let you know whether or not this is a good fit and what needs to happen. Thank you once again for tuning into Amplify with Purpose. If you enjoyed this episode, please follow and share and subscribe to ensure that you never miss an episode. And remember, sharing is caring. So you probably know somebody who needs to hear this, but please send it to them. They are going to thank you for it. Your support helps us reach more people and help people to amplify their purpose. Be sure to join us next week. We are going to have additional conversations with Lyndall. And next week, we talk about the art of sales driven websites. You do not want to miss this episode. So make sure that you tune in. Until then, keep living with purpose and amplifying your impact. Bye for now.